listening to The Two Marks exclusively on the Pod Station.
Welcome, listeners, to a new show brought to you by The Two Marks. This time we are embarking on a vicarious journey of discovery through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hold on to your hats as we follow one person's experiences watching all 25 movies in chronological order. This time we are reviewing Iron Man 2. Welcome to the Marvel Marathon, aka the Marvel Rewatch show.
Finally, we got it right.
It was always right. And who are you?
5 episodes.
Let me introduce an interruption. Let me introduce my friend and co-host, not the person talking, Mr. Mark Pollard.
Hey mate,
Hiya.
He's got a weird twitch when he gets his intro introduced. I've noticed that his brain just slightly starts to melt a
And
touch.
drool.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm alright, thanks, yeah.
Looking forward to talking about this one after the bit of disappointment that was the Hulk.
Any film after this, the last one would have been an improvement, wouldn't it? Yeah.
A rectal examination would have sufficed.
Holy shit.
To find the SIM card.
Let's not go down that route again. We fully utilised all the jokes.
You really did.
Anyway, who is this person talking and taking over the airwaves? Introduce this Gagarina.
Well, as you've alluded to, the person whose journey we're following is the wonderful Ishtar, who's going through the Marvel universe for the first time. We're gigging in on her journey so that she can gig in on our life.
Yeah.
Loving how confident she's found her voice since we did the Hulk.
I know.
She didn't do anything last week other than just go, yes, no, I don't know. And now-
Shit.
Yeah, the word shit was
shit.
used a few times. We probably got qualified as an 18 plus on Apple for the last episode. All but 5 people could have listened to it.
Yeah.
I guess the show shouldn't have been that bad, should it?
No.
So, anyway, how are you doing?
Great.
How are you feeling this week?
I'm way happier.
Okay.
Because it's been a decent movie that's been what?
Okay, so that's an indication.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was it. You have got more words, haven't you?
I have. I'm
Cool.
saving them for the episode.
Don't look at me, I've got no notes, so I've got
How is that
sod all to say.
On this film?
I forgot. I ran out of time. I only watched it yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like night before, homework, splurge type jobby, and I had every intention of doing some notes this afternoon.
But you can use mine.
Well, I can, but your notes are quite comprehensive, but in a relatively random way. And so I'm going to try and work through your notes, but I'm critiquing your note taking on the basis that I haven't got any, so I feel slightly hypocritical. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway. Mark, you've got loads of notes, haven't you?
Mine are quite full. 6 pages. I think. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Holy shit.
5
you have
pages,
as well.
sorry.
Wow.
But only because I'm aware of some of the questions that Ishtar may raise.
Well, I always wondered about Latham's note taking. I always assumed that he just copied and pasted stuff off Tintaway, but I've actually now seen him do his notes, and he dictates shit to himself on his phone.
Oh, dear.
And then types it up verbatim.
And then giggles.
Yeah, he giggles at himself.
I
You
giggle,
are too cute, you know
I
that.
giggle to myself, at myself.
I love it. I love that you do that.
I mean, I was massively impressed with the amount of it. In fact, it made me feel slightly bad about my lack of note taking.
You're
But
usually organised.
well, all the gold's in the brain. That's it. It's in my mind.
Yeah.
I just have to find a way of turning it into a verbal form of communication.
Well, like a lot of gold, there's fool's gold, isn't there?
Yeah.
And you have to
True.
mine it, and it costs a lot of money and a lot of time to mine it. So by the time you found what was
It's
there,
not worth
it's
it.
not worth it.
You just described me in a nutshell. Anyway, before we deeply analyse my inner workings and being, let's move on to the show. Before we do it, go check us out on social media on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at The Two Marks, where you can find stuff either about the show, general film reviews that we do. You can go and listen to the podcast if you subscribe on which all the major podcast platforms. You can listen to all of the shows that we do. So we do film reviews, we do obviously the Marvel stuff, we do some Star Trek stuff. It's all there, so go check it out. If you can't be bothered doing a search, and goodness knows why, go to thepodstation.co.uk, find the Two Marks tab. There's easy to find links all there as well. If you want to send an email to Mark to complain about something that he said, it's the Two Marks at thepodstation.co.uk. If you want to send a nice email to me, it's also the Two Marks at thepodstation.co.uk. I just won't read the ones that are necessarily sent to me. I will just print and frame the ones that are sent to Mark.
Any ones that are more than 5 words to you will not get read, will they?
Yeah, that's true.
So keep it brief.
So basically just send them all to me and I'll sift through the sacks of mail.
There are 2 people sitting here who've had first-hand experience of my inability to read an email of more than 3 syllables.
Yes.
Diabolical.
It's horrible.
You have to get the question in the first sentence of the email.
I put it in the subject.
I do, yeah. I'll have to send the JPEG attachment
Exactly.
of the question.
A visual.
Of like a quote.
I don't feel this is the platform on which we should be particularly analysing me
You
as a human
started
being.
it.
I did start it and I regretted it instantly. Right, let's move on to the film before we get into any more of my flaws and failings. So, Iron Man. Let's go around the room and get some initial thoughts. So, let's start with you, Ishtar. What did you think?
Brilliant film. Brilliant. It was, I can't say if it was better or worse than the first one yet, because that would be giving it away too early.
Shortest show ever.
But it was definitely way better than the last film that we've seen. Thank God, because I lost all will to live. But this film was brilliant on many levels.
Latham?
The Time Man. Lovely. Great film. Back to form. We're back to the Marvel way of doing things.
Is that as opposed to the Hulk?
Yeah, because the Hulk's a good film for different reasons. It would have been, if Marvel had control, it'd be a good film.
What about you, Pollard?
Thank you. I was patiently
It
waiting.
was purposely didn't ask for that reason, because you're waiting.
Thank you. I thought it was alright, it was good. Iron Man's always good, isn't it? The reason why Robert Downey Jr. has done so well is because he plays the role so well. So even in a film that might not necessarily be as good, I'm not saying this one in particular, but there are films further down the line which perhaps are stronger or weaker. Whenever he comes in, he definitely raises the bar instantly. And there's loads of humour in this, which is kind
Brilliant.
of why I like Marvel as a general as opposed to the DC stuff that they'd rolled out around about this same time, which is quite manically depressive, isn't it?
They've got the casting spot on. I can't see anyone else playing him.
How do we want to do this, Ish? Do you want to go through your notes and talk about things that are particularly of interest, or shall I perhaps go through the film chronologically?
Well, shall I go from my notes and then you can add?
Okay,
Change it up a little bit
Yeah,
for-
let's do it. Get in the driving seat.
What are we doing?
We're going by Ish's notes.
As opposed to yours.
Yeah.
That he doesn't have.
As opposed to you reading her notes and going by her.
Well, I won't be reading her notes because I can't really understand them. There's about 30 sentences of notes, so going back to the email analogy you both have very much pulled on. I've not read them.
Can I just justify the type of note taking I do?
You don't need to justify him. I mean,
No
he's
need
got
to.
6 pages. You and
Well,
him are
yeah.
on the same
I know why I've got
wavelength.
mine. Mine are to make sure accuracy. He likes to riff off our notes.
Okay, so we'll go off mine.
Yeah, go off. Your note. Where do you want to start?
Right from the beginning.
That's always a good place to start. I mean, I could have done
You
that.
know how this works, don't
I
you?
was doing that without notes. I'm just hastening to
Wow.
add.
You've done this before.
Right, first part of the film was interesting because we got introduced to Ivan Vanko and the fact that his father had worked with Howard Stark in the whole arc reactor thing. And then later on in the film, we got to know why the dad had been ousted and why Mickey Rourke's character had then got this bee in his bonnet about anything Stark related. So that was a good introduction to the fact that we'd finished the film saying Tony Stark is Iron Man, and then that had continued nicely into Iron Man 2, and it was just a continuation of that story. Loved that for that reason. Discuss.
Well, I've got an immediate issue with the whole father-son thing going on the basis that Mickey Rourke?
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke looks...
Michael's his friend.
Yeah. Mickey Rourke looks older than the dad who was dying of old age.
Yeah, you did say.
That's
that he
thanks
looks
to getting
similar.
battered around the ring.
He is rough looking though, isn't he?
Beautiful man, but then combination of going into professional boxing
And plastic surgery. You see, plastic surgery ruins
Everybody.
Anyone who's thinking about plastic surgery, I urge you don't. Everyone looks amazing without it. I know sometimes there's medical reasons why people want to do it, but I've yet to meet someone who's had plastic surgery that doesn't look weird.
You're like a walking Clinton's greeting card, aren't you?
Well,
Everyone's beautiful.
You see, as a former lawyer as well, I've come across so many times when things have gone horribly wrong, and it's all because people thought, I'll get my nose just made slightly smaller, and then they find some blurt who does it and cocks it up, and then the nose not only doesn't look smaller, it's now ruined for the rest of their life.
Problem is, because it's expensive, people then go to like sort of Mexico, Greece, Spain.
Turkey.
I've eaten, thank you. and then they get it done for like £10, and look why the face looks like a prune.
In fact, this entire film's got that going on because Senator Stern,
Oh my word.
I mean, his arse cheeks are on his forehead at this point.
Yeah. He's had that many facelifts of his balls under his chin.
I didn't actually notice that about him.
Yeah, they were there if you looked.
How could you notice?
Did-
How could you not notice?
I don't know.
You don't think his face looked like the guy from Nemesis out of Star Trek?
No, but I will go back and read.
She won't know that. That's
Oh,
such
yeah.
a niche.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get that instantly.
Thank you. Well, that's the reason why we keep him around. He doesn't do notes, but he knows Star Trek.
Yeah.
I
which is
know when
always
to
a
laugh at your jokes.
Yeah, that's
Your
why.
nerdy jokes.
It was a good intro, and it was nice that it flowed through. You got to know the baddie straight from the get-go, which was cool, and you got to learn the backstory about Ivan pretty quickly. I liked that.
They have adapted this from the comics. They've combined his character Whiplash with the Crimson Dynamo.
Why do they call him... Oh, okay. Oh, shit, that just clicked.
Hang on, clunk.
Yeah.
There was the coin dropping.
Dude, seriously.
I mean, I didn't know he was called Whiplash because they don't refer to him as Whiplash.
They
No,
never
do they?
once refer to him in the whole film as Whiplash,
Yeah.
but he's a combination from the comics of Whiplash and Crimson Dynamo, because his dad was the original Crimson Dynamo, and basically it's the armour. He can control electricity, as you would have seen, but the Whiplash is the whipping thing.
Which is brilliant,
Yeah.
isn't it? What a cool weapon.
How do you think Russians feel about this film? Because we go very stereotypical with the old Russians, with the bottle of vodka, the living in poverty, the dodgy accents.
Although perestroika around the time, it is a trope that's used, but I mean, around the period, poverty where you would queue for about 5 hours for a loaf would have happened.
Because the flip side would have been an English gent with a bowler hat and an umbrella over
And
their
a
arm and
monocle.
a monocle and a pinstripe suit going, oh, what?
How dare you? What it does do is it keeps it within the fact that Russia and China and other powers tend to be the places where these threats come from, particularly on an earthbound environment. They're easy targets.
Now, following on from this, you get your first introduction to Howard Stark.
No, I don't.
Well, oh no, you don't. I suppose you've seen him in Captain
America.
You get your introduction to the older
More mature.
Howard Stark.
No, that was in Iron Man 1.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was Howard Stark in Iron Man 1?
Yeah.
Seems very confident about someone who doesn't know there was a Whiplash guy.
Well, I didn't know he was called Whiplash, but I know the guy was in it.
Assuming that Lurden will be kind and will edit that out, we get to meet Howard Stark again.
Take 3. A younger, older gent for the second time.
Yeah,
the
Howard
expo.
Stark. Yeah,
Tell me about Howard Stark.
Howard Stark was in Captain America, so we got to learn about the fact that he had done the blah blah. And then in Iron Man, he was part of Tony Stark's backstory. as I
Yeah, but
mentioned.
was he the same character who's playing? I'm not sure. Howard Stark was in Iron Man 1, was he?
Well, he's on the recording.
And was it the
Yes.
guy from Mad Men? It was, wasn't it? Actually, thinking about it.
I don't know who played him.
The guy who plays him more recently is the guy from Mad Men.
Yeah.
But you put down here that Tony Stark is a showman, which is sort of why I mentioned him in the first place, because we get a nice little 1970s video, don't we?
Yeah, but I wasn't referring to that. I was referring to it when he's at the expo and he's doing the whole, blah, I'm here. And he's got the showgirl thing.
Yeah, but that's what the video was in the background.
Yeah, that was a video.
You're
yeah,
talking
true.
about the massive
Bow
entrance where he
entrance.
jumps out of a plane
Yes.
and then Pepper Potts throws his helmet out the plane. Then he jumps after the helmet and then lands in the most painful pose ever. More so than Black Widow's.
So I've got a question here, because later on in the movie, when he's absolutely battered at his birthday party and he goes, everyone's ever wondered how I go for a wee, and then he goes,
funny.
and then wheeze, and then says to Pepper, oh, it's okay because it gets distilled so you can drink it. However, when have we ever seen Tony Stark be naked underneath his suit? In which case it begs the question, how does his bit connect to the suit in order for the clothes he's wearing not to get drenched, or without him having to open up his fly to insert it into something in the suit when it's there? Or is there like a little hand inside the suit that does all that for him? In which case it begs the question, what else does it do?
Well, in which case I'd never go for a wee.
I'd have to change the shape of the suit as well.
Well, I'd have to change it from Iron Man to Hard On Man.
And I have no comment on
Or
it.
just
This
leave it as
entire
Iron Man, but
subject.
it'd just be
Yeah.
a double entendre.
Yeah, Hard Man.
What do you think, Ish?
No comment.
I would never save the world. I'd be like, where is he? Where's Iron Man? I think he's having a wee. More than 2 shakes is a wank. So basically, that's a very good question. I think either what would happen is, like with me with button-up trousers, I hate button-up trousers.
Yeah.
I leave them undone.
Ironically, half of my pants, he says as he reaches for his crotch to check, half of my pants are the button-up ones, and they're right pain in the bum.
Oh, I leave them undone. Most times I'm walking down the street in my trouser pants with my buttons undone, exposing myself. That's my expose. That's what I think he does. He goes and buys these button-up pants and goes, I can't be arsed doing them up. Jumps in his suit straight away, right out. He still pisses his boxer shorts though.
I mean, that is illogical, and I hadn't thought
Thank
about
you.
that, obviously. And it reminds me of the Hulk illogical pants situation.
Explain
too.
that, though.
The Hulk illogical pants situation.
Well, yeah, because they stretch because they're made by Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, but we didn't know that
He doesn't
before
piss
you
those
explain.
pants.
No, but we didn't know that until you explained that, and that was
Yeah.
illogical. And this also, by virtue that he's just mentioned it, and I hadn't thought about it, is also illogical.
That makes up for the fact he's got no notes.
You see,
And
I
he
don't need
skipped over
notes.
half of my notes to get to that point.
Also, though, he spent most of his time trying to work out how he went for a wee.
So what else have we got on your notes, Ish?
Right, the government wants the Iron Man suit.
Yeah, they do.
For reasons you don't know.
No,
Till
well,
5 movies away.
yeah.
Well, it's safe to assume, without the thing you may or may not be alluding to, it's safe to say that the government always want in on something that they want, don't they?
Ties in nicely because if you remember from Iron Man 1, Tony Stark says we're not making weapons anymore. Justin Hammer does make weapons, so he's made up, and AIM make weapons, so they're made up. Basically, they want access to the stuff he hasn't given them after the contract ended, so they probably feel a little bit entitled to that.
The assumption is, and you do see this quite frequently, that the government assume they are the best people to look after these important things because they can be trusted and sensible and reliable, which quite often isn't the case. What did you think?
Well, given that the government and the army did a shit job getting rid of Hulk and the other baddie, I wouldn't trust the government with anything, but...
And in real life, considering that the Taliban have got £83 billion worth of the military's armour, it also doesn't work in real life.
How did you feel about the senator inquesty thingy? Because he gets subpoenaed while he's sitting in the car, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then ends up in front of the Senate being all witty and bantery.
Yeah.
He does a little jaunt in, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because he knows he's a billionaire.
Yeah, he's a
Doesn't
bit
care.
cocky.
And he's got a phone that we still don't have, even though this film was
10 years.
released like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and it's good to see the introduction of Justin's character in
Nice
that
little Easter
part.
egg on that phone, on his watch thing, or whatever he's got.
Does he?
Yeah, at least cheeky Easter egg,
Oh.
which I'll tell you later.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, don't know if that senator is a bigger character than what he's been through today, but towards the end of the film, wrongs get righted.
He's definitely a comedic character.
Yeah.
Because whenever he gets involved, he gets made to be looked like an arse
Yeah.
by Tony Stark, particularly when Tony decides to hack into the TV system using
That
his
is
mobile
really
phone
funny, yeah.
and start showing, particularly the Justin Hammer one where that fella, when he says the guy survived, I'm standing there thinking, blimey.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that is an Easter egg for another day. So that's where we're going with that one. They refer to that in another film.
Oh, do they?
They do.
How did you feel about Justin Hammer throughout this film? Because he's one of the big bads. He certainly is bigger bad as Ivan Vanko. In fact, I'd probably say he's a bigger bad because he plays a more prominent role.
He's your corporate bad, so he's not your bad.
Yeah.
He's your
Greedy
business.
knobhead.
Yeah. Let's get what we can, espionage type thing.
Yeah.
He's not evil. He's after world domination in a more fiscal approach.
Which obviously isn't evil according to Mark.
No,
Well,
but
it is
I
evil,
agree.
but it's not villainous, as in he's not killing people.
Yes.
Well, very deep.
Indirectly.
Well, it gets deep and philosophical because technically, if he's polluting the world, then he is killing people.
Well, he did also threaten to kill Ivan Vanko.
Yeah, but you see, it's what you can get away with, isn't it? I mean, he's not.
It's only evil if you get caught.
Yeah, he's not evil as we would establish a villain to be. He's just your typical head of a corporation. For example, it'll bulldoze a poor area to build multi-story flats. So he's that type of evil. He's not, that's just genocide or
And he
he's a
probably
corporate-
wouldn't kill anybody directly. He'd probably have someone who would do it on his behalf.
Yeah, so like Microsoft and other big companies, they're always vying for market share. Hammer Industries is another company that makes weaponry for the government, leading edge technology. And so when everyone finds out that he's Iron Man and he's got this wonderful technology and they've stopped making weapons for the government is going, well, we want that because technically we think we're entitled to it.
Right.
Justin Hammer's thinking, if you can get that,
Yeah.
I'll reverse engineer it and I'll make it for you,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
government. So that's what that is.
Yeah, agreed.
With Justin Hammer-ish, if he walked up to you in a bar and said, do you want a drink? How would you react? Because he's an interesting guy, isn't he? He feels like a bit of a try-hard.
Yeah, I'd say I don't drink.
I'd say I'd have a Diet Coke and have a chat.
Would you?
Yeah.
Why? Is that because you're being polite or because actually there's something that might float your boat about him?
No, just because I'm being polite and I'd probably like to understand a little
He
bit
can
more
dance.
about him.
I suppose, yeah, he did have
does
some foot.
swivel.
He had
Oh
some,
yeah, the
hips.
foot move was
Yeah,
good
some
actually.
foot.
He has got a bit
Yeah.
of swivel hips going on.
He did.
Lesser known fact, originally was supposed to be Iron Man.
Really?
Wow.
I'm glad he wasn't.
He's good for what he was cast as.
So yeah, well, even with that dancing feet jobby, no one was cheering, were they? He was a bit like a kid who learned how to break dance, and then when he goes to a nightclub, feels he has to show everyone that he's been to break dance lessons, as opposed to the person who can really dance, who's standing in the corner quite quietly.
It wasn't apparent from the beginning that he might be a baddie.
I think we're maybe misappropriating the word baddie in this context, but he's basically a corporate baddie.
Yeah, corporate baddie.
But he can dance. He's like that.
Which gets him out of jail
It
free.
does a little bit. It's like that FBI guy who did the dance and shot someone. Did you see that on YouTube?
No.
Off-duty FBI guy does like the caterpillar.
Yeah.
And as he does the bucking of the caterpillar to land, his gun comes out of the back of his pants, lands and shoots someone in the thigh. Suffice to say, he's not an
Wow.
FBI agent anymore.
Right, on a separate note, new roadie.
Oh, yeah.
We have the new one. I like him. I like him out of Oceans 11 and 12 and 13.
He's not in that.
Oh.
No, you're talking about the guy who plays him.
Yeah.
I was going to say Rhodey isn't in Ocean's
No,
11.
the
Because they
guy.
wouldn't need 11. They wouldn't need 10 other people, would they? They've got to do it myself.
I mean, when you said that originally, I was like, did I have the wrong person as well? I'm sure he was in Ocean's 11.
Yeah. Rhodey was in Ocean's 11.
I meant the
So is he better or worse?
better? I like him.
Why? It feels more of an equal to me.
I think he bounces off Tony Stark much better than the other one did.
The other one felt like a friend who was constantly put upon and disrespected and ignored and put up with it because he was his mate, whereas this roadie feels like someone who doesn't take any shit. So if he hadn't have turned up to an awards do and he'd have had to got up, this roadie would have done something to get him back, as opposed to the other roadie who just turned up going, you left me standing there, didn't you, mate?
Well, look, this one's a bit more standalone, and he goes a little bit rogue halfway through, doesn't he, through the film, because he goes and supports Justin Hammer's charade. So,
Well, if he thinks Tony's stepping out of line, he does what he feels is appropriate to.
which makes him a stronger character than I think he was in the last one.
Yeah, it definitely is a more standout version because he's his mate, but we'll check him.
Yeah, which is good.
And he always says it as well. I mean, he tells him before he does the things he's going to do. So when he walks into the Senate thing, he actually says, yeah, sorry, mate, I'm just here to read my report.
But he's still his mate, so they don't lose any of their friendship.
No.
There's the bant that goes on, and there's the camaraderie. And then when it's business, when he's in a Middle Eastern country fighting that tank, they send the fighters after him. And Tony's like, might want to turn them around because they're chasing me. And he's like, what are you doing there, sort of thing. Do you remember that bit?
Yeah.
Okay. You're looking a bit puzzled then.
No.
Like, that was the first.
There was a replay in my head, but I got it.
There is that frustration, but I just think he plays it better. I like him as
An actor.
Yeah, I don't think he should have done the English accent when he did Ocean's 11. I think he should have just stayed American.
Yeah, I agree. He didn't do a good job of it, particularly, did he?
No.
So this is the roadie that's going to continue henceforth herewith hitherto.
I'm glad. He's a good one.
What about Happy?
Yeah, we're getting a little bit more about Happy. And I remember that you'd given Happy a rating on your top
He
10.
loves a happy ending.
Yeah, I do.
Don't we all?
That's another podcast in After Hours.
You know, did that a bit out.
No, absolutely not.
I think I'm editing this one.
Yeah.
Maniacal laugh.
She can't say shit like that. It's
Get away.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, Happy.
We like Happy. We got to see a little bit more about him. He's a funny character. The relationship that he's got with Tony and with Pepper is cool. I like the guy that plays him. I liked the scene where he was saving Tony in Monaco. I like the character a lot.
He's one of these perfect examples of what Marvel do so well. He's not in any of the films a huge amount. Like in these films, certainly Iron Man ones, he's in them, but only in fleeting glimpses. And yet to come away feeling so invested in a character who's been in so little, and to keep on seeing him going on in future films is such a clever thing to achieve. The fact that we're talking about him probably had about 10 minutes of airtime so far out of the two movies.
He was also the director of this film.
So he's obviously got himself some job for the boys.
I know who should be in this.
He's funny though, as a character, he's brilliant. The way he gets his ass handed to him by Black Widow.
That was hilarious.
The fact that he's having this one-on-one boxing match
With
whilst
Tony, yeah.
Natasha's kicking everybody else's ass.
Yeah.
The fact that he's making a right dog's bollocks in the Rolls Royce, having saved Tony, but is smashing the rolls against Ivan against the wall whilst Tony's trying to get the suit, but can't because he's going forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards.
It is good. The scenes are memorable.
The comedic, but in a clever Marvel way, not a slapstick stupid way.
Yeah.
Doesn't get too serious where it becomes problematic, but at the same time you've got the lightheartedness between the two. So you've got an action scene, a violent attack by Ivan Vanko, but the comedic thing at the same time.
Do you think there's an emotional weight to Happy-ish? Because, I mean, maybe I'm biased by the fact that we see him a few more times going forward. Obviously, there's an Iron Man 3, and on the basis he's not dead at the end of this film, it's safe to assume he'll be in Iron Man 3. But, for example, you can see how protective he is of Tony.
And Pepper.
Well, I was just about to say it, and then you've got the part where Tony's in Pepper's office trying to apologise with the automatic moving thingy, which I have to say I was well on his team when it came to trying to stop that bloody
annoying,
thing.
yeah.
You could see the hurt. He was like the child in the divorce, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's the equivalent of Alfred in Batman.
Yeah, except less cool and doesn't make as many cool toys.
Yeah. But you made reference to Natasha, or Natalie Rushman as she's initially referred to.
Now, this is the first time you've come across this, and obviously it was the first time we came across her when we first watched this film, but this is the first time you've come across her.
Yes.
You now don't know that she wasn't Natalie Rushman,
Yeah, she was Natasha Romanoff.
who's Black Widow, part of S.H.I.E.L.D. Did you know that? Did you suspect that? Did you think she was... Because I think I remember thinking she might be a baddie the first time I watched this film.
Well,
Sorry to interrupt, you would be right based on what we now know. But
But I thought she was a baddie, and I know we're going back into the what's a baddie definition.
baddie.
Yeah.
so I know that she is Black Widow because I've seen adverts of her as Black Widow, so that kind of spoiled the fact that is she a superhero, is she not a superhero? But had I not known that she was Black Widow, I wouldn't have thought anything other than the fact that she was the paralegal or legal advisor to the Stark thing, and it would have been a bigger surprise that, oh, she's part of S.H.I.E.L.D. shit. But I like the fact that Tony Stark didn't know that, and the way that she revealed herself as an insert into his organisation as a result of Nick Fury putting her in there, and then how she comes about and he's shocked about it. But I like her character. I'm not a massive Scarlett Johansson fan, I'm not gonna lie, don't really like her, but I like the character of Natasha Romanoff.
Now, I've got a follow-up question there, but did you, when she came in as Natalie Rushman, I presume you were still naive to the fact that she might be Natasha Romanoff?
To the point of the fight scene, I wasn't certain what character she was playing.
Which fight's in the one where she duffs Happy in the ring, or?
The scene where she does the signature drop from the ceiling.
Right.
And she does a knee slide underneath the guards.
Yeah, but we already know she's Natasha Romanoff at that point.
Unless you know who Natasha Romanoff is.
Yeah, but you would have done, wouldn't you? Because you read, so you will have known when.
At the point, I knew that was Black Widow.
This role, Scarlett Johansson has more recently talked about how she felt overly sexualized in this film. It was more based on her being tits and ass rather than her being a proper character. And I wondered what your thoughts were on whether that was the case, because I can understand why she thought that, because Tony, certainly at the beginning of this film, is a bit leery and a bit Me Too about it all in the film. But then again, we know now, and certainly looking back, that Natasha Romanoff is someone who's a secret agent who will assume roles in order to manipulate people in order to get what she needs. And so for me, in my head, and maybe I'm just trying to justify this, thought that she was essentially playing that kind of a role to ingratiate herself or to get closer access to Tony Stark, to get the information, whilst also remaining a strong, powerful woman, like for example by decking Happy in the ring to keep allegiance with Pepper. But I don't know what you think.
No, I think that's a fair conclusion. I feel that she was playing a role because she knows that Tony is attracted to women, and so she was playing a role to get into his space. And then I think she was badass the way that she handled herself once we found out that she was Natasha.
She's quite badass throughout as well. I guess that's where I sort of feel I don't necessarily agree with her interpretation of that, because throughout she's kick-ass. Throughout there's no suggestion she's not massively talented and intelligent.
Well, she's a
in
lawyer
fulfilling the role.
Yeah.
And actually, if anyone, Tony Stark comes out as the grease monkey.
Yeah.
And they don't shy away from that fact. In fact, repeatedly, either he acknowledges it or Pepper pulls him on it.
She's not right in that evaluation, because if you take her character from the comics and take her historic origins from the comics, she's a member of the Black Widows, which is a Russian secret organization that is trained to manipulate by all means necessary and assassinate whoever. Now, if you think about Red Sparrow is a true story based on the program that was run in the 70s, 80s by the KGB, FSB, GRU,
XYZ,
all the alphabets, and they were covertly training people during the Cold War and on to blend into society and sleep with people to get information and then kill them through means of femme fatale. That's where the femme fatale comes from. Black Widow is a femme fatale, a trained killer to sleep with, poison people through whatever reason, whether she's got poison lipstick and she kisses someone, they die. That's what she's trained to do. The character is, and if you look at any of the comics, the costumes, the origins of the stuff they wear isn't some pervy guy in a costume department going, I think she can wear a mankini. That they draw upon the core scripted comics. So that's her character. If she felt that was how it was she's spot on. Over the course of the films, her character develops, so it isn't all about tits and ass. For the role, I think you're absolutely spot on. She was trying to get into the inner sanctum of Tony, yeah, and I think that's what it is, and she's done it well. So if she felt
Agreed.
that, blob on.
Can we mention the palladium issue, because obviously that plays a part moving forward?
Do you want to mention it?
Yeah.
Because I don't really understand what you mean by the palladium
Is it
issue.
live on the palladium?
The fact that he's being poisoned, he's got blood poisoning from this palladium that is not working the way that it should be working, and that's what prompts him to revisit the whole father's blueprint thing when he's given the opportunity to by Nick Fury.
You see, I'm curious as to what it was that he kept on drinking, thinking, because it sounds like he was almost drinking what the equivalent of petrol to try and neutralise his stuff, whereas certainly whenever I watch it, all I can think of is this sort of green kiwi fruit juice stuff that I can buy in the garage usually, which tastes quite nice.
Like wheatgrass stuff?
No, it does.
Innocence?
No.
Who aren't sponsored, by the way.
2 marks at thepodstation.co.uk. Yeah, but something like that where it's supposed to be a pure juice product, but it's obviously that coloured green.
Yeah.
So every time I watch him drink it, I think, I fancy one of them.
Well, it's black in it.
Oh, is it? Well,
Yeah, he was drinking it in the
at this
box
point, I should
anyway.
point out I'm green and red colourblind.
It was, I'm pretty sure it was black when he met Natasha, but yeah.
So if ever you find me having to cut the wires of a bomb and someone goes, cut the green one, Mark, I would run. I would run and save yourself.
Thank you for letting us know
Because I
that.
cannot guarantee I would cut the right wire, and it wouldn't be be deliberate.
Holy shit.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So the palladium, there's been a bit of a redo on that, hasn't it? Because the element he creates is vibranium. However, we already know from the film we first watched, which was Captain America, the First Avenger, that vibranium is a...
God, your memory's worse than mine.
No. I was looking at him but thinking about something else because I'm...
Oh, don't say that to Latham. Christ alive. That's opening a Pandora's box.
No,
as well.
okay, wait. So we did see Captain America's shield
Yes.
as part of him making the new machine.
But the vibranium question,
Yeah.
he creates vibranium, but he doesn't create vibranium because vibranium already exists in Wakanda. Their
So he's
biggest-
just learned how to create it.
Well,
I didn't know what that element was that he did ultimately create.
Well, they didn't
well, he
say
didn't.
what it
It's
was.
called vibranium.
Yeah, but they didn't say that. I'm with
I-
Ish on this. I didn't actually
Yeah.
know that.
He supposedly creates the thing that already exists in Captain America. It's already established that vibranium is a rare metal.
Yeah.
But we find out, obviously later, you don't know this, that vibranium is one of the biggest exports. Not that they export it.
Well, that's in the comic books, isn't it, really? And to go back, we already know vibranium exists because Captain America's shield in the 1940s was,
Yes.
and it was made by Al Howard. Although I presume Howard's made it from the metal he got from Wakanda because he doesn't know how to make the metal because, of course, that's what he's essentially trying to enable Tony to do.
And Coulson says, where did you get the shield from? Did you get that in your note?
Well, I'm curious as to why he's got a half-made shield anyway.
That's the prototype.
Yeah, but why is he making a prototype? Is that because he now knows Captain America is awake again?
No, the Easter egg, because he uses that to prop up
Yeah, no,
Hadron
but why
Collider.
does he have a Captain America shield just lying around?
Well, he doesn't. That's out of the box that he gets from his dad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Ah.
So his dad made the shield for Captain America.
Yeah.
That's the prototype that his dad was working on. That's like the mold of the shield before the final one. And he was probably dabbling with it. So he uses that. That's an Easter egg for the fans to go, oh my word. And then he used that to prop up the Hadron Collider, which makes the element that already exists. So well done, Tony. He did nothing.
Who finds those story arcs really irritating? The whole I'm dying, but I'm not going to tell anyone, particularly the people who care about me most. Instead, I'll just act like a right royal bellend, upset everyone, and then when I do die, or if I do die, everyone's going to think I'm a right tit, even though actually they'd have probably been very understanding.
Isn't that most men?
I feel like that is right on point. I would tell you both.
But you're dying. You
Yeah.
wouldn't shut the fuck up about it,
I
would you?
probably
You'd be
wouldn't.
going on about it. I'm dying. All right, mate. It's the flu. I wouldn't tell anyone.
I'm
What if
pretty
you
sure
were dying? You wouldn't tell us?
Well, you'd know because I wouldn't be here. Well, I suppose you see, yeah, I'd have to tell you two, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you
So
would.
you foiled it again.
I mean, I think there's two things here. The first one is that, as Fiore points out, there was a proper thing going upside of his neck, and presumably Pepper Potts would have noticed it and gone, "Hello, what's that?"
Bit veiny.
Yeah.
She might have said that before as well.
He'd have probably been looking in the mirror at the time and misconstrued her comment. Did you like that?
He might have said that as well. Did you like that?
But at the same time, just tell her.
I know. He loves Pepper, so why wouldn't he tell her?
We all love pepper, particularly on pasta.
Or on an egg.
I have salt. I have salt. Do you
You
have
don't have
pepper on it?
an egg? What? You don't have salt and pepper on an egg?
Hang on, you've added salt. You just said pepper on egg.
Pepper on an egg?
What type
As
of egg?
well as-
Boiled
No.
or fried?
Well, both.
Well, you're greedy. Why are you having two eggs?
I might go to the extra for having two different types of eggs at the same
Yeah,
time. Just
so-
go with the one.
The chef's going to be like your best mate. He's like, can I have one boiled egg with pepper on and a fried egg with salt on? It's like, just have two boiled eggs. You fat cow. I like pepper on a lot of things, but that's not what we're talking about. What were we talking about?
The annoyance of not telling people you're dying.
Toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Which is ironic given toxicity was actually what was killing him anyway.
That was literal toxic masculinity. No, men are supposed to be, I know now it's been ruined by Zoomers because they're crying about everything. But the men of old, not that we're talking chauvinistic, but the men who would be the hard ones who don't cry often, that's what we're talking about. I wouldn't want to go and share to the world.
But you wouldn't tell the world. There's a difference between telling the world but telling your closest.
Yeah.
I might put it in an envelope and say open this later. There's also like Death Post, which I've just made that up right now. It's just,
you're going to have to explain that. If you've made it up, you're going to have to elaborate.
I've just literally made it up.
And we need to find out whether we need to IP protect this.
Like a death post is telling people that you're dying, but like as if it's your badge of honour. So for example, Katie Price went to the doctors and had a little bit of a thing on her face, whatever, and the doctor went, "You've got cancer," and she went round all over the social media, "I had cancer." And all that people think is the worst type of cancer. All she had is a little bit of a skin tick. So everyone's boasting about the fact that I'm a survivor of cancer. You didn't really have it in the first place.
No, that's not true. When she had cancer and she survived, she is by very definition a cancer survivor.
No, not in my book.
I'm inclined to agree with Latham on that one.
I feel we're going back to the baddie definition.
But what
Corporate.
would you tell somebody?
I'd have told Pepper, and I'd told Rhodey, and I'd told Happy.
Yeah, but you don't know any of those in real life, so who would you tell?
Yeah, but were I Tony Stark, I would have told those three people, because those are your inner circle anyway.
Yeah.
And those are the people who are going to have to deal with it. And ironically, those are the people who will probably be most motivated to try and fix the problem in the first place.
The problem you've got with that is if you're getting a hand job from your Iron Man suit, they won't know where you are. They might have thought that you've gone to the loo again and you've gone for weeks and you've died.
Moving on. Monaco car race scene.
I'm gutted because I have a movie prop of Tony Stark's driving jacket.
Oh, have you?
I was going to wear it today. It's in deep archive in one of those bags that sucks everything off.
But I liked it. Sucks everything off or sucks everything out?
Well, it doesn't matter out. There's no air in it anyway. The bag's like proper.
I know you.
And you suck all.
Don't encourage him. He knows what he did.
He giggled like a girl. And he's like, I know, I'd line him up just for him. Just to pad the fact he's got no notes. He spends most time giggling. Yes, I like that
It's
scene.
a good scene, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Introduction, really, to Whiplash, if that's what his name is. We thought he had big boobs when he was walking. He was like, look at them pecs underneath that suit. And then he just whips it off, the top part off. And then you're like, whoa, actually, that's another art reactor and his little
Whippy
whips. And,
Whippy whips.
yeah,
Mr.
loved
Whippy.
it. Loved how he just like smashed it against a car and it ripped it off.
You've got the Elon Musk appearance down here.
Yeah, that was cute, that.
Was it?
Yeah.
You see, whenever I see that, I think of the Donald Trump appearance in
Home
Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel they're both equally warped individuals.
Well, yeah, technically Elon Musk now is the Iron Man of the day.
Which you said 2 episodes ago, yeah.
Thank you, is what you meant to say, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We have jumped past the fact that Pepper is actually the CEO at this point, because she gets made CEO before this.
What do we think of Pepper as CEO?
Why not?
Brill. I mean, it makes complete sense. A, she's doing all the work already. B, she's the only one making sane decisions.
Yeah, he would be buying all sorts of rubbish, wouldn't he?
Yeah, she was absolutely already doing that job. She just needed the paycheck and the job role on a business card merely to ratify that very one. I mean, I presume you're happy about this.
I mean, she deserved the job. Whether she did a good job or not, I don't know.
I haven't seen the annual report.
Well, she seems to have spent the entire time shoveling shit, because the shoveling the shit he creates as a result of having been made CEO.
The biggest contract they've got with the government, before he gives her the job, they stop making weapons.
Yeah.
So what's she in charge of?
And she was only doing the job for a week anyway, as he confirmed at the end.
Yeah, but she's still doing the job, isn't she? They do sort of joke at the end after she's resigned from the job and they've had a bit of a smoochy smooch. There is a bit of a joke about the fact that she is still going to be doing it.
Well, there is a conflict, isn't there?
Yeah.
Conflict of interest. If she's a CFO or CEO and also why are you giggling? And doing stuff with the boss.
Yeah, but she's the boss now.
She should do it with herself.
Hey?
Maybe both.
She just climbs into the Iron Man suit and it does it for her.
I need to get one of them. An Iron Man suit, not a person to wank me off.
Probably cheaper to get the person.
Yes.
Anyway, she gets offered to have an interview by Tony's
Klingon.
ex.
Yeah.
By Klingon. Thank you for remembering that.
Yeah.
By Klingon?
Yeah, the reporter.
I refer to her as the Klingon.
And I remember.
Because it was like the second or the third time we'd seen her in Iron Man.
Okay.
And she's one of those you can't get rid of.
Yeah. Well, didn't he sleep with her?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
why.
then she was.
Well,
all
Pepper
on
tossed her out, didn't
Hammer.
she?
Yeah.
Yeah, after she tossed off.
I don't think she was on Hammer though, was she?
She was a bit.
She wasn't. I think she was after an interview. Oh no, he said she was interviewing him.
Yeah.
So he seemed more keen on the interview.
Yeah, she's a reporter, isn't she? So she'll do anything for an interview.
Maybe-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe she was just having a Diet Coke and being pleasant and listening to him.
Nah, she don't look like a Diet Coke kind of girl.
Oh.
You know.
She's full fatter.
Yeah. Exactly.
She was working for Vanity Fair, though.
Exactly, that goes with the territory.
Hardcore. They're like Rottweilers for an interview.
Yeah, they'll do whatever.
It's like
it
Hello
takes.
Magazine when you suddenly sell your own house for your wedding for exclusive.
Never read Vanity Fair, so I haven't got a Scooby-Doo. I do have a story about Monaco. I was told off by the police for taking my top off. When I was at Monaco.
But why did you take your top off?
Well, because he was bleeding red hot. And, you know, when you're on holiday and it's
But do
like
you
seriously
do you walk
hot.
around shirtless when you're on
Well,
holiday?
not particularly normally, but I was.
Monaco.
I was just no. Well,
Did we have a conversation about Man Boobs McGee a few weeks ago?
Yeah. I think that was probably why the police told me off. No, I wasn't walking through the middle of Monaco. Like, I wasn't in the shopping centre going whoa,
If you were doing that as well, singing wubba wub, and they go, "Oi, big tits!"
I was sort of by the beach bit, sort of walking around. But the rules are you can't have your top off. Period in Monaco.
Did you have hairy nipples because they are illegal in Monaco?
I think they're illegal everywhere, aren't they? So anyway, I got into trouble. I had to put my top on, put my man boobs away. I had to put my bra back on.
The tide could come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Greenpeace went back.
Great visual there, Mark.
They were going to harpoon one of his tits.
I wondered what that thing was that whizzed past my head.
Yeah.
Can we also comment on the fact that he managed to sack his driver off? I mean, what are your feelings, Ish? You're being paid to be a professional racing car driver in the middle of a race, and then the person who owns the race team just comes out and jibs you off.
You'd be a bit pissed, wouldn't you?
I think that happens, you know. I mean, you watch Billions, don't you?
Yeah.
I think Billions is probably quite an accurate depiction of what people are like when they're that worth that much money. I'd like to think if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't be a complete knob, but I bet you that's what they're like.
But I also watch Formula One, and I don't think it would be allowed if one of the owners, who probably doesn't have the right licenses and probably isn't a registered participant in the competition, suddenly walks onto the racecourse and goes, "I'll be racing today, thank you." I don't know what that accent was.
No idea where he's from. I
Kind of Australian.
don't know what that was. Just on that alone, I'm like, no.
I was just trying to do an accent, and then halfway through realised that actually I seem to have committed to a geographical one, and I
felon.
didn't mean to. Yeah.
Well, if it was Bernie Ecclestone, you probably wouldn't, but because he's about 90, 100.
Yeah, if he said he wanted to do it, you wouldn't say no, though,
Yeah, you
would
wouldn't.
you?
Yeah, but you wouldn't be allowed to, because would he be registered?
No one cares. If you're getting a donation for your campaign
Of
running,
1 million.
So Roman Abramovich owns Chelsea Football Club.
If he wanted to play football...
Yeah, but he's not a registered player.
Doesn't matter.
you're getting proper deep on that, aren't you?
Well, this is on. I'm not being funny, but this is on the same part of
No,
the how
wait.
do you have a wee in the Iron Man suit?
No. Let me tell you from experience, having worked for a millionaire,
Okay.
there is no such thing as no. If you want something done, things will happen. Not a word of a lie.
And I would times that by $1 billion if you're a billionaire. Didn't Elton John fly in some sort of steak from Japan? Ryan Reynolds has just bought Wrexham FC with his mate.
Yeah, no, but he's not necessarily going to play for Wrexham, is he?
I don't follow football, so you have to forgive my ignorance. But if he ran on the pitch and went, I'm just going to give a bit of a kick around, do you really think any of his players are going to go,
Well, he could do a kick around, but he couldn't do it in the middle of a match.
I think we should
I
agree
think-
to
I
disagree
think-
on this one because
Okay.
I reckon
I think
they
we should
could.
open this up to the telephones. If you think Mr. Pollard has a point, or if you're a billionaire and you want to be a sponsor, I don't care what you do, if I'm honest.
If you just want to turn up at Mark's office
Yeah.
and just get in on
Yeah.
the podcast.
I have enough customers doing that now. So if you want to turn up,
They
as long
will
as you
take
pay us,
money.
as long as you pay us, you can do what you like.
Yeah.
The 2 Marks at thepodstation.co.uk. All money's available, including from less reliable sources. That's not the case, MI6. I'm only joking. That's satire.
Right, so we finish off the race.
Disclaimers.
And Tony obviously kicks Whiplash's butt and crushes the arc reactor. His ass gets hauled off to prison.
For the record, the reason why he's got the arc reactor is because it was joint created by
his dad and Howard Stark.
Yeah.
Got that. So Tony goes and visits him in the prison, and then there's a cool scene where he gets, pulled out of prison by Mr. Hammer.
I feel you're missing an important part of the scene here, which is when he's getting dragged away from the race course by the police and his shoes come off. That, people, is a reason why you need to tie your laces properly, which he doesn't do at any point during this film. If he'd have had his laces tied properly, he wouldn't have lost them when he was getting dragged off by the police. And if he'd had his laces tied properly, when Justin Hammer tells his mates to pull his shoes off and take his bird as well, he wouldn't have lost his shoes then. Tie your friggin' shoelaces, children.
Yeah. What did he say? Do you want a cock or two? Just the one.
Wow.
He didn't say that.
Wow. You too.
He might have had Crocs on. I hate Crocs.
I know you hate Crocs. Mark hates feet, so that's why I'm surprised he picked that
but who
one
likes
up.
feet? I mean, obviously I don't mind mine. Otherwise I'd fall over.
There are people on certain websites where people can pay. I'm not talking dodgy websites. There's a site called Fiverr where you can more or less get anything for a $5. Lots of business people use it for stuff. You can actually get people to send pictures of their feet for a $5.
You do realise we're giving them free advertisements?
If you'd like to sponsor the show, it's the Two Max
for more than a $5.
Or if you'd like a picture of my feet, I will charge a $5.
Oh.
They won't send it back. Not your feet. It's a $5.
I'm keeping the $5. It's non-refundable.
But it is cool that
my feet.
Yeah, well, they're not that cool. They're very hairy.
I'm going back to the Hobbit discussion we had 2 weeks ago.
I'm having deja vu of like a proper ingrown toenail.
I don't have an ingrown toenail,
Not yours.
just for the record.
Like really like smashed in toenails. From walking too long, you're like marathon runners.
Yeah.
All the toenails are ruined and their feet are just flopping around.
Oh, but in our football WhatsApp group, people, when they've had the toes trodden on, they've ended up with a black and blue toenail, and for some reason they feel they need to tell the whole group, and you get these pictures of people's feet, and there's toes pointing in all directions and toenails that haven't been maintained for about 20 years.
Yeah.
It's not a sight you want to see.
Pedicures is the answer.
It is.
What's the name of my autobiography?
So yeah, going back to the prison scene.
He gets busted out by Mr. Hammer.
MC.
Yeah, MC Hammer. And that's where those two form an allegiance or an alliance, whatever you want to call it.
Stop. Hammer time.
That's a good one, that.
All right.
You're so sharp.
We do, yeah, they are so few and far between. We do have to make it'll be good ones. Now, the first scene when Ivan first meets Justin Hammer, does this make you want to have ice cream?
I love ice cream, yeah. I do think that was a nice scene.
I'm sure I've mentioned this before. There are key points in certain films where I just really want certain foods, and I've mentioned this before. In The Bodyguard, it's carrots. I don't even know why. I think
Carrot?
In a sandwich.
Carrot in a sandwich. Thank you. Hook, fried chicken.
Yum.
And in this one, it's ice cream and
with
those fruit juices.
I forgot about that.
So yeah.
No, it didn't make me want to eat ice cream. It wasn't. Not as much as the burger reference from Iron Man 1.
Yeah, and the burger from Iron Man 1, yes.
That did make me want to have a burger, but this didn't make me want to have ice
Five
cream.
Guys. Not a sponsor
Not
either.
again.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Not again. Not after that last five.
No.
But it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, so what were we saying? Allegiance, alliance between
Justin Hammer and Ivan Vanko.
Yeah, that's good how that starts off, and then how that story kind of...
Yeah, because he's a tinkerer.
evolves.
He basically is the Tony Stark counterpoint.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that he's that intelligent, and he's taken, as Tony did from Howard Stark, from his dad too.
And that's why they purposely made the Mark 1 suit from Iron Man 1 look like the exoskeleton for his Whiplash suit.
Yeah, I've called them drone machines. Is that the right reference? Like what he makes?
Later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of drones, aren't they? They're not manned vehicles right now, are they?
No.
After that guy's spinal injury.
Can I just pick up again on another flaw in this film?
Go on.
When Tony goes in to speak with Ivan in the prison cell, and he's critiquing the design of the arc that he's built, and he's talking about like the rate per second being too... He's basically giving the guy all the information he needs to do a better version if or when he eventually gets gets out. He's telling Ivan this in the prison. He's going, oh, you did a good job there. You nearly killed me, didn't you, with that arc that you built? The RPM was a bit low, and if you'd have built it with this, it'd have probably been a lot better. So Tony's trying to be a smart ass whilst essentially giving solutions to the problems that Ivan was facing with the first build, so he can make another one which is better. And in fact, he actually says that in the big fight at the end, doesn't he?
Idiot. Yeah.
Just saying. Anyway.
I agree.
No, it's true. But then I suppose it's like what I say about the villains. Villains always give a monologue. Instead of just killing someone straight away in the face, they spend 2 minutes telling them the whole plan, and then the people escape, so they know the plan. Whereas if it was me, I'd just shoot them in the head, not say a single thing.
How much time do you think has elapsed from when Ivan starts working for Justin Hammer to the presentation? Because if Ivan's working on his own, he's a bit of a grafter, isn't he? Because
yeah, there's tons.
There's tons of work he's put in to get arc reactors in all of those drones.
5 sets of army people, Navy and Marines and all that kind of stuff.
If it's the deadlines I work to, it's about a day. From start to finish, a day easily, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, but he's building all this on his own, isn't he?
I'm building them right now.
Yeah, I think I lost concept of time with that, actually, because you don't really understand how long that's taken him to do it.
Yeah, I think you just have to dispel belief, don't you? It's taken a while.
Well, to be honest, it was a bit of a surprise that
What date was the expo? Sorry.
I don't know.
When Hammer was playing golf, it looked like Whiplash hadn't done anything, and then a couple of scenes later, he's at the expo with all of those machines.
And let's not forget, he also builds a suit for himself, plus he's a new whip, plus programs it all
To kill.
to actually do what he wants. I mean,
He's smart.
if you want a job, Ivan, give me a shout, right? Because I've got loads of work. You could get through my entire to-do list in a day, going by the volume of stuff you got done in this film.
Yeah.
He must have had like robots building the outer skeletons of the.
But you don't see any of that in the...
Maybe it's just you
the
kind of have
labs.
to just assume he couldn't have tinkered all them himself.
He needed an A-team montage, didn't
Yeah,
it?
he did,
A
like-
MacGyver.
And a hand.
A blowtorch
Maybe
and all
he
that.
had a hand machine. Like Tony has.
He wouldn't have got any of them done. Justin Hammer would have returned, and there'd just be like an arm on a bench, and he's like, "What have you done
With
there?"
steam coming off the arm.
Yeah. What have you built? Nothing, but I've had a lovely afternoon. I finished off the ice cream. You're going to need to get some more vanilla because it cooled me down. My crotch is on fire. It's not the clap, but anyway. Basically, yeah. I'm going to say there was a couple of weeks went by. Depends on the date. If it's September was when the expo thing was on. Probably a couple of weeks from that. Before that.
Cool. Can we talk about Coulson?
No.
No.
You love Coulson, don't you?
All right, can we talk about the fact that, because we've missed this, Rhodey steals a suit and then...
Oh, I see.
Oh, no, we can talk about Coulson. We were only joking.
Okay.
Would you like to talk about Coulson first, or Rhodey stealing the suit?
Coulson. I did miss him until this point. He had more to do in Iron Man 1, but it was nice to see his little face. I do still love him. He's still going to be very high on my list, even though he didn't have a lot of airtime.
He was a bit of a puppy on the lead in this one, though.
Doesn't matter.
He was the representative shield in
Yeah.
Iron Man 1, whereas in this one, he's just Nick Fury's bitch.
When you've got a film with a lot of characters that need a certain amount of airtime, not going into the spoilers of like some Avengers and other films, but when you've got the last one with like 30 people, trying to allow enough screen time for these people and not lose who they are. We've had that happen in films where they're not on for that long and you're like, I don't even know who they are. Whereas with Marvel, we do know who they are. So it's okay if you don't see them front and centre.
Yeah, because he had enough
yeah.
airtime the first.
He's kind of a pick up and play character. You'll pop in and then you won't see him, and then you'll know he's bimbling around.
And it's like Nick Fury. We saw a lot of him in Captain Marvel. Not a lot of him here. I did miss him in the last Captain America. Captain Iron Man. Shit.
Captain Iron Man.
Captain
Captain
Iron Man, the Hulk.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
incredible
The
Captain Iron Man.
Marvelous Hulk.
Iron Man. I did miss him in Iron Man. So the fact that we saw him a little bit in this one was good, but he didn't play a massive part.
He was shit.
Nick Fury?
No, Coulson.
Oh, I'm talking about Nick Fury
Oh,
now.
well, I'm talking about Coulson being shit.
No, I mean, he's not
He only
shit.
had one
That's
job.
harsh.
He had one job to do, which was to make sure that Tony Stark didn't leave the house. And,
And
what
then
did
he
Tony
did.
Stark do?
He left.
He
But
didn't
he's
just
Tony
leave the
Stark.
house. He bought strawberries, managed to go to the office, talk to a load of people, and drive home again.
And nobody knew.
Before Coulson realised he was missing. Or you popped out, didn't you? Oh, dear, way up.
Maybe he let him pop out. Did you think about that? The way that he let
Are we
Nick
talking about him
Fury
getting in the
and
suit
Marvel.
again? Or
That's what happened. He basically
Get
said
out.
to Iron Man, I think you need to get strawberries. Where's that suit?
yeah, he wanted some quiet time.
Anyway, you take your time, Tony.
Where's the remote for the?
Yeah. What does that button do? Oh, that's a
I
treat.
can sense the mood in the room today, by the way.
But he doesn't when Tony has basically demolished the entire house without Coulson realising it, and he comes in going, I believe you may have left the house. And Tony went, yeah.
What are you going to do about
What are
it?
you going to do? Yes,
I still love him.
We do love Coulson, but he wasn't very good at his job in this film, in
He's a
my
lovable
humble
character.
opinion.
Agreed.
But you mentioned Nick Fiore.
I did mention Nick Fiore. He wasn't in it as much either, but played the
It was
role.
called Iron Man, you see, that's why.
This is the first time we see him. I know we've seen him in Captain Marvel, but he was a very different character to the one we see in
He's
this
more
film.
rugged and rough in this
Yes,
one.
now, the
Very
thing with
different.
That, you benefit in a way because you're seeing a different type of Nick Fury.
We haven't seen the Nick Fury you saw at this point, had we?
It's an earlier version of Nick Fury based on a film that's one of the later films of the phases. So we're seeing the latter part of Nick Fury, a grizzled, worn.
We got to know Nick Fury first time round as the grizzled one,
Yeah.
and saw him later on as the wet behind the ears happy-go-lucky guy, whereas you've seen the happy-go-lucky guy first
And
the
then
more
his
grizzled one.
evolution.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
his evolution. And I think this is my Nick Fury. I like
Oh, he's lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
he's
Nick Fury.
good.
He's witty but sharp, like
Sharp.
razor sharp. I mean,
Yeah.
he cuts Tony down to the knees multiple times.
And Samuel Jackson is a really good actor as well.
Love him.
Do you want to talk about Roddy stealing the suit now?
Rhodey steals the suit.
Yeah.
And
He
Yeah.
doesn't steal the suit.
no, but
really.
he go. Well, yeah, he
If-
does.
what?
Didn't Tony start saying, "I need the suit back," and then he's like, "No, I'm
He did.
keeping it."
Nah, but go on, Mark's going to pull up on the thing that I was going to pull up. I'll let you be the
No, no, I
clever
was
dick.
just-
No, I insist. Go on.
I think it's implied that the suit really was going to be given to him.
Because of the protocols.
Yeah.
So Tony Stark has override protocols that stops anyone from using the suit.
Right, which
except
is-
for Rhodey, and I suspect Pepper Potts would have probably also have had the means to use the suit. So based on what he was doing when he dies, Pepper and Rhodey will be able to use the suits, whereas no one else could. So the fact that he's taken the suit was actually probably a premature taking of the suit.
Yeah, the thing he shouldn't have done is taken it straight to the government for them to enhance it.
Well, that's the point. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't make that point.
Well,
he-
that's what I meant.
But in fairness, he did take it on the back of Tony Stark being a right royal bell
Pain in
end.
the ass. Yeah.
Is that when he was eating
His
a donut
birthday
inside
party.
a donut?
Well, no, it was before,
Before
that.
that.
It was when he was blowing up
Shit
glass
in the house.
bottles when people were
Oh,
around.
And,
yeah, having a party.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't a very wise thing. Alcohol firing what is essentially a laser gun
People.
and glass blowing up above people's heads.
Yeah, I have one of those. I've been many a time been called repulsive. Anyway, that's all I had on that.
Okay.
Technically, there is protocols in place for him to do that because you never know. In addition to Tony dying, there may be a scenario which just so happens this film provides the proof of where he will need assistance. There's another reason in relation to Pepper Potts that I can't tell you because you don't know it's happened yet, where exactly the same protocols would exist for Pepper Potts.
It just shows the strength of Rhodey that he was willing to take the suit and take it to the army and just be a bit standalone.
Well, it goes
'cause
back to what Mark said.
Yeah, I
though.
don't feel that other Rhodey would have done that.
No, what Mark was saying earlier about the fact that he is his own person and
Yeah.
will check him. He's taken the suit because he has a responsibility to his job,
Yeah.
the government. He's had it upgraded to become War Machine.
Yeah.
That fight scene was good, though.
Was.
Between Tony and Rhodey, where they're smashing dumbbells over each other's head.
But who the hell was going to win that anyway?
I'm always a little bit confused about this suit thing. So they smash themselves over the head with a dumbbell and then they fall over like you've been smashed over the head with a dumbbell. But almost instantly they're fine again, doing some more fighting. So does it hurt or does it not hurt? How much does it hurt when you get smashed over the head?
I imagine it'd be like getting hit driving a car.
On the basis that someone ploughed into the back of me yesterday in the car, I can categorically state that if someone did that to me, I wouldn't be up and fighting straight away again.
Maybe
despite
it's like
what they
a
do.
pillow fight then.
Jars you, but you can carry on.
I'm just thinking of Roddy and Tony and Jim Jams
pillows.
bouncing on the bed having a pillow fight.
Maybe that's what it's
Well,
like
actually,
because they can jump up
actually,
so
you joke
quickly.
about that, but they are literally hitting each other with things that would kill a human and are still mates at the end of it.
Yeah.
You have the pillow fights or blow off steam, don't you?
Yeah,
And
and
at
then
the end
you're
of
good.
it, you're all right.
You
And
just
so
hug it out.
Tony's probably going through an existential crisis because he's realised the responsibility thing. With great power comes great responsibility. He's told the world because of his hubris that he's Iron Man.
Ooh, nice word.
Isn't it? Just rolls off the tongue like cunnilingus. He's told the world he's Iron Man. So now he's realised, okay, that comes with the responsibility that every single time there's a problem, I'm going to have to be either creating technology to solve it or deal with it. Because at this point in time, as far as he's concerned, he knows about Captain America because of what his dad's worked on. And he'll know about other stuff. We know from his computer that there's loads of stuff he knows about.
He
Find
knows
out
about the
later.
shit Incredible Hulk.
He knows about everybody. He knows about stuff that you don't even know, that Marvel doesn't even know. That's how much he knows.
Wow.
You don't know what he doesn't know. That's
Does
how much.
anybody not?
I know. He's obviously having a moment, which is why he's drinking and having parties and being the playboy, just eating a donut inside a donut. Pretty cool. Rhodey says, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I'm not sure I'd be able to eat the donut in the suit because you get sugar and shit all over your suit and you'd have to clean it, wouldn't you?
I think in that scene, though, his suit's also giving him a hand job.
Because
he just doesn't care.
You'd have to polish it and everything, wouldn't you, afterwards? Because you couldn't just use
so much about you.
Because you couldn't just use a Kleenex because it leaves smear marks on the metal. So you'd have to get like a proper metal polish out to buff out the.
Would you have one of those like buffers?
I'd have one in the pocket. Yeah.
Are you that OCD?
He is.
You were quite quick there. Okay. Thank you.
I think the fact that that's what I honed in on from that scene probably answers the
Alludes
question.
to it, yeah.
Wow, okay.
But yeah, you know.
That wouldn't be my worry. My worry would be like, I'm eating donuts in a suit that's metal.
And I'm diabetic.
How am I going to expand in this suit?
I'm going to expand in this. I think I already have.
As the belly expands from all the donuts.
And imagine the chafing, because every time you bite into the donut, the sugar will go down the neck of the suit, and then obviously, you get the sugar.
How the hell do you eat donuts?
Like this.
Well, that's why I have a beard, because the sugar gets caught in the beard, and
If you need a snack later.
yeah.
That's why he has a beard, because that's all sugar.
But without a beard, I need a bib.
Or a bigger mouth.
That reminds me of the Twits. That's what
The
Mr.
Twits.
Twit.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well done, Mark.
Yeah.
Right, what are we talking about next?
We are talking about the cityscape and how he picks it up once he's been in Pepper's office. So he's gone to Pepper's office, picked up those pieces of wood that had landscape on it, and then he's taken that back to his lab and transformed it with Jarvis into this 3D tech thing, and then realises that that's the key to making the new element, right?
The secret hidden.
Love it.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Bit like
the
Dan
technology
Brown,
in that. Yeah, oh yeah, defo. That is superb, that. Isn't it?
Absolutely.
I loved it. If only we all had technology like that.
Yeah.
That's it.
What do you think?
I agree entirely that we all wish we had that technology.
What technology are we talking about?
So the cityscape was the expo, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
essentially takes all it apart, doesn't he? And inside one of the housing of the miniaturized buildings is the key to unlocking
Because
the
he
thing.
starts to get rid of certain elements from that board.
I'd have got rid of the wrong elements and I'd have ended up with just some random stuff.
Basically what he does is he gets the massive rip-off of the Epcot Centre, pulls it open, so you've got the huge golf ball, and then he gets rid of all the bits he doesn't need. What he's left with is vibranium, which already exists. So he says, thanks, Dad. I spent weeks doing that. Ivan Vanko's made 14 suits of armour while I've been titting around with an element that already exists in Wakanda, which I know exists if I look at my map.
Duh.
I know.
Yeah, but they don't know Wakanda exists, do they?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that happened. And then we go back to the expo and the army thing.
Oh, well, you're missing. Hang on a minute. We're weaponising the suit, aren't we?
We've done that, haven't we? Didn't
No,
it upgrade?
actually that was a decent scene because it was funny when Hammer pulls out all those weapons, and then the last one that he pulls out is this teeny tiny thing that apparently is supposed to be the most powerful and then ends up not being the most powerful when it's shot out of Rhodey's suit.
Well, where he failed was he wasn't thrown in the iced glass cooler things that
Yeah.
Tony does in the first. That's
Yeah.
the deal closer, isn't it?
Yeah. So come on, Typhoid Mary, tell me. Tell me more. Tell me more of your exciting notes that are not in chronological order.
I don't know where Mark is on my note now.
Where are you on your notes? Never mind where Mark is on your notes. Where are you on your notes?
I'm just picking up the bits of your notes you missed. So going back to the expo with Arnie Hammer.
Arm and Hammer. That's toothpaste, isn't it? If you want to be a sponsor.
Isn't Arnie Hammer
He's
the
an actor.
actor?
He is an actor, yeah.
This is your dance scene, isn't it? He's introducing all the drones.
Wow. I've not been vaccinated as well, so. Now it's the testing time. I'll put a big red mark on the door. You've just been to an expo as well. And all I'm going to say, if the R level increases in Liverpool. Why are you crying? It's upsetting, isn't it, your notes?
Got laughing. I don't know why. Anyway, where are we up to?
Hammer in the expo.
Arnie Hammer.
I wish all my shit jokes were this funny.
When you laugh at them yourself, they last forever, don't they?
It's just...
Yeah, but someone else is laughing at my shit joke. It wasn't even a shit joke. It was just me making a right royal foible.
Yeah. In your own time, I finish at 8. Just say it.
I can't even.
This show was only 40 minutes. It's got like an hour of laughing. Do 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 do. Well, Welcome to Two Marks Presents Ishtar crying into a microphone.
This is the big fight scene at the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody dies.
Tell me, what have you got in Ishtar's notes?
Well, Ishtar says that Hammer goes to the expo with his drone army, and they look amazing.
Do you think so, Ishtar?
No, I'm reading her notes.
They do look amazing. He's got 5 of every type of army person.
Yeah, they've even gone for the colour-coded camo look.
Yeah, well, they're prototypes, aren't they, to sell to the government? So he's put them in the right army colours to try and show off. Like when you saw Tony Stark in the first film.
Yeah.
And he just did that, and the whole mountains blew up. That type of thing he's trying to show off. There's a certain je ne sais quoi about Tony Stark and Justin Hammer.
Do you need to blow your nose?
Yeah.
I know. I was happy with you playing with your snot for 10 more minutes. I was reminded of Play-Doh. Do you remember that? We had that before.
Right, we've got the colour-coordinated drone big fight scene. Was it good final third act scene?
Yeah, it was. Although I was a little bit disappointed with how Big Bad gets killed in the end, because I feel like that was a bit half-ass. It's just the War Machine and Iron Man putting hands together and then blast, and then he's on the floor, and then all that shit just blows up. That's a bit boring way to kill a baddie.
He wipes out most of them just by flying through that globe thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was an easy way to remove a load of potential issues.
It was a nice fight scene. I think it was over too fast. They could have done
A bit more.
Yeah.
The fight scene with Ivan and Tony didn't last very long at all, did it?
No, and I think that's the problem as well, isn't it? Is that if you've got a particular runtime that you need to have, you don't know what bits get cut out, and if you have too many villains, so you've got all those robots to kill, and then the big bad, something has to be sacrificed, doesn't it? So I think they got dispatched pretty quickly, the robots, and then the fight. I mean, to be fair, isn't he fighting under a waterfall? Anyone knows if you throw a toaster into a bath, it's not going to go well, is it?
No.
Plus, Tony's got the upgraded power source at this point, so the arc reactor that Ivan's using is pretty much like your mobile phone against my mobile phone.
Yeah, it would take a bullet, mine. You would die.
True story.
Yeah.
Yeah, could have done more with that fight scene. It was decent though.
Well, the flip side one was, of course, Natasha getting into the Hammer unit with Happy. And Happy's obviously beating on one fella, and Natasha's just garrotting
Brilliant.
everyone.
There's like 7 on the floor by the end of the fact that he's just done one, so yeah.
She takes on 5 guys.
Now, they never tell us this, do they? Never tell us this in the films, but from the comic books, didn't you say that she's had some of the super serum?
Yeah, one of the worst kept secrets ever. The Black Widows get the serum. Hydra gets the serum. Everyone gets the serum. The government.
I think I had some on my porridge this morning.
It's everywhere. She has enough to be able to take a good kicking. She hasn't got...
Well, she's not green for a start. Muscles aren't quite as big as Cap's.
The thing is she's only had a little bit of it. She could probably heal a bit quicker, or she could take a punch that would probably break all our ribs.
So she's not really superhuman or superhero. She's just trained to be a very good warrior.
Yeah, she's been trained to be a weapon.
Yeah.
The same as Wolverine has been trained by the government to be a weapon. Deadpool, Agent X, Lady, Deathstrike's been trained. They're all trained to be killers.
No, not Deadpool though, but that's separate. Did get some weird shit inside of him.
Yeah, but he was trained to be a killer.
Right.
The fact that he's had a bit of a alleged reaction to it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they didn't just happen to be going to work and work as an office manager and find that they've happened to have the serum. It's either been injected into them against their will, or they've been indoctrinated into a secret society or organisation for it to be a game changer for when they go into the field. Black Widow, as an individual killer, femme fatale, she needs to have the best train ever, and that's what she is. But now, because of what we now know from the film, it all fits in. It's a shame that's the order of how they've come out, because I think that may have answered the question, but then it would have spoilt it, I suppose. Sometimes if you tell someone too much about the person, you lose.
I mean, I didn't know any of this about Natasha, and to be honest, I didn't really care. I've just always assumed she was just dead good at fighting, and I never asked any questions beyond that.
You wouldn't if you'd been battering you, would you?
No.
It's like, yeah, you can have it, love, it's fine. Yeah.
You like Black Widow anyway, don't you?
Yeah, she could batter me any day.
Bathroom around the ring.
Tony gets with Pepper at long last.
It was alluded to, wasn't it? Did you not pick up the vibes on
Yeah, I
that?
picked up the vibes. How many TV programmes we watched where will they, won't these are dragged out for years on end?
How many times did you tune in to watch it? Remember the Kenko coffee when he went, hi, I've just moved in next door. Have you got a cup of sugar?
This was the end of the second film, and if they're, 2.5 hours, so you're talking 4 or 5 hours worth of film, and we've only just got to the big smoochy.
Well, you either work very fast in 5 hours.
5 hours of film, not 5 hours of real
They
time.
must have known each other for a while, though, mustn't they?
No, I know, but you're missing my point here.
No, but it's nice that within movie 2, you get to see that what they had alluded to.
That's my point. I did want to find at the end of 3, they're still going, oh, will they, won't they? Because there's obviously this unrequited love
between them.
There's a lot going on. If you think about how the character development is, because that's the problem with most films is, well, the character didn't do anything, didn't move from the first one. You've got that going on. You've got these new villains. You've got Tony Stark where he is now. You've got a second character, Rhodey, now his alter ego, War Machine, and how that character develops moving forward. There's a lot of moving parts, and then you've also got to keep people entertained with the humour, and Justin Ham and eggs, bit of pepper on there as well. Justin Hammer, he's obviously now a character from the comics, but also in the universe, and we'll be seeing him again soon.
You mentioned about the comedy. It's always good for Marvel-ish, where they're having this romantic smoochy scene, but still manage to throw in a little bit of comedy with Rhodey having been sat there for the entirety of
when they're on the roof at the end.
The moment,
It was, I did mention that in my notes, so it was nice.
You didn't say it, did you? So I've essentially stolen that from your notes.
And also from your mind, because I haven't got ESP. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just read your notes.
For the benefit of the people listening to the podcast, Michael's just read Ishtar's mind.
Dangerous.
Yeah. Yes, the humour was top notch, as always, and it made it very enjoyable. That was a good little bit.
Would you make Tony an Avenger?
Yes, I would.
Is that because he's buying you everything?
Yeah. No, but genuinely, when he's not feeling like he's dying, he's on the right path.
To be fair, he's a pretty good specimen of man if he's able to do all the things he does and also be dying.
Yeah, we've talked about intellect. I think it's good to have a smart person on your team anyway.
Why do you look at me then? Am I the weak link in this team?
Oh,
you're the first to go. He's like...
I was alluding to you being the smart one.
Neither of us believed that for a split second.
Nobody vocalised that.
Let them just look to me in a condescending manner.
He knows.
Yes,
in fact, if you'd have been sat closer, you'd have probably patted me on the head.
Would you want him in the Avengers? In your Avengers?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, massively. I think he's great.
Pollard?
Yeah, he's got all the gizmos and gadgets.
He'd be making me proper good suits.
I'd be well asking for one of them phones. I'd want to have a drive in his car. I'd probably have loads of business ideas I'd need him to invest in.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need the drone, would you? You'd have those ones that Ivan Vanko's got.
Yeah, he's the mate with all the answers.
Yeah.
He makes better suits than the other guy, Phil.
Yeah. What about the end credit?
Yes. What?
If you introduce the end credit,
right? So
because what's happened there is he's become you.
I know. I need to stop looking at your notes.
The film ends, and then we have end credits.
Yeah, which is
Coulson had disappeared earlier in the film to go to New Mexico, based on Nick Fiore asking him to do so. So we lose Coulson for a large part of the film, and then he rocks up in a car with the registration of New Enchantment or something. I saw that on the reg. Anyway, might not have been anything, but I noted it. And he's in New Mexico, and he's saying that they found a crater, and what's in the crater? Bloody Thor's hammer.
Boom.
What's it called?
I don't know.
Oh,
Am I supposed to know?
Mjolnir, or is it Ragnarok?
Ragnarok's the end.
Mjolnir's the other one, isn't it? Emu.
Well, up until Mark destroyed what was in my mind, right, like an earworm, I did know what it was called. He's just looked that up. Mjolnir now, but because he's gone me-more, I haven't got a clue what it's called now. So I'm going to go Mjolnir, but it now sounds shit.
It does sound shit.
Because he's ruined it there with his 15 words a minute.
Not that anyone cares at this point anyway, it's just the fact that it's...
Well, this feels quite satisfying because this end credit actually leads on to the next film we're going to be watching, which indeed was the next film that we were going to be watching in the original release. So
I'm dead excited about that.
The end credits, I don't know whether this is going to continue. I hope so.
Well, you were saying that as we went along, that the end credits would make more sense, and the last two have now made complete sense, and this one as well.
As time's gone on, the films that were coming out don't always relate to a specific time frame, so they have to follow an order anyway.
Yeah.
The ones that now are creating backstory to characters have moved the time around.
Yeah,
so
it's very exciting.
That's quite good, isn't it?
What a brilliant end credit.
Should we go through the Easter eggs? We still need to rate this film and see whether any of the characters are either added to or make our top 10 Marvel characters.
Do it.
Okay, so I'll be as quick as possible. I'll just go through the many cameos that were in the film. Stan Lee, Tony mistakes him for Larry King. Seth Green, people know him from Family Guy. Larry Ellison, co-founder of Oracle Corporation, has a cameo at the Stark Expo. Jon Favreau, as already mentioned, who plays Happy Hogan. Elon Musk, as mentioned. Christine Everhart from Vanity Fair is the same lady who slept with Tony Stark in Iron Man 1. DJ AM does Tony's birthday, and this film is dedicated to his memory. He died of a drug overdose. You get to see Tony working in his workshop and uses the shield to slide under the coils to make vibranium. The cockatoo was Mickey Rourke's idea because he didn't want his villain to be one-dimensional. That was something he came up with for his part in the film. Another theme that runs through with Tony Stark is AC/DC. The music tends to follow that, and you'll see he's wearing like Black Sabbath, so there's like a heavy rock vibe.
In fact, if you look at the DJ at his birthday party's logo, it's actually got the AC/DC sort of bolt lightning-y thing in the middle, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Then, as mentioned before, the parallels between Walt Disney, who at the time hadn't acquired Marvel, there's the Epcot Center. The Ionettes, the girls on stage at the expo, are in fact cheerleaders from the Los Angeles Chargers cheering squad. Links to the comics, specifically with War Machine. In the comics, the armor was due to Tony Stark's alcoholism. They've updated it, alluding to his partying behavior, but the idea was the Mark II was to stop Tony before he did anything he shouldn't. Justin Hammer's a variable threat response battlesuit, which was the original name of the armor in the comics. They've called it War Machine. The other meta reference is when Rhodey's called as a witness for the Senate hearing. He says, "It's me, I'm here, so get over it and move on," which basically tells the fans and those who have seen the first film that he's the new Rhodey Rhodes. He's here to stay, and I personally think he's good. There's a Hydra link, but unfortunately, due to the fact that you haven't seen any other films, I can't really mention that right now. But on this computer screen, in the target map, there are links to, in the news feed, there's broadcast of Hulk's rampage in Culver City, crater showing Mjolnir, not Moo Moo, Mama, Mimi. And then displayed on the map, you can see Captain America, Black Panther. There's an area which could relate to where Red Skull is, or in fact Union Jack, which we haven't seen yet. We also see Atlantis, and so Namor is going to be another character that was alluded to in this film and will be in Wakanda Forever. Then there's a reference to Wakanda. Obviously we now know because the Black Panther's out. They already knew 10 years ago that they were going to do these things. Then at the end there's a reference to Thor's hammer. The other thing that is on Tony Stark's watch, which is a wonderful Easter egg, on his watch next to the SHIELD app is the Illuminati.
No way.
The Illuminati in the comics is a secret society that consisted of Professor X, Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic and Black Bolt. Also had Iron Man, and they had an alliance.
Sorry, Mark. Ishtar's trying to read my top 10 list before I've released it, so she's not even listening to your amazing facts. She's too busy trying to cheat.
Wow.
I know. Continue, please, sir. I'm listening.
The only other thing, there's a link to a new show that's coming to Marvel in maybe 2022 called Armor Wars. It's going to have Rhodey Rhodes in it. It's going to have Justin Hammer in it. It may have a cameo from Pepper Potts. May also have Happy Hogan.
I'd love to see how they're going to get Gwyneth Paltrow back into these Marvel movies, given how little of a shit she actually gives to
money.
The thing. Yeah, I suppose.
Money. Basically, she's on her phone talking to a lawyer who is called Bert, and in the comics, he's the lawyer who works for Stark Enterprises in the Armor Wars storyline. That is it for the Easter eggs.
Well done, Mr. Latham. So, we've come to my favourite part of the show, which is rating the movie and then deciding whether or not to add any of the characters from this film into our top 10. We're giving each film a score out of 10, which will help us ultimately at the end of the 25 movie marathon. We'll have a comprehensive list of our favourite Marvel movies, and we are also going to have our top 10 favourite characters. Now, we can add whoever we want into those, and we are allowed to move them around, but only if they've been in the film that we're watching. For example, we may have Captain America at number 3, but by the time we see Captain America 2, he might have moved down to number 8 or 9 in the list. You will then, during Captain America 2, have a chance to reassess where he may or may not go. But you can't just, obviously in Iron Man, go, oh, I think I'm going to move Captain America up because he's not in the film. With that in mind, let's start with you today, Latham. I'm going to leave Ishtar till the end so that she's given a score based on our superior knowledge.
That's fair, to be honest.
Well, you always go first, so I thought it'd be nice for you to be able to go last this time, because you might well change your mind in between.
Well, I've made my notes on why I like the film and my score, but let's see if that changes. Go ahead.
Start with your score out of 10 for the film and why.
8 out of 10.
Okay, let's run through this. Your Iron Man is 9 out of 10. Captain Marvel's 8 out of 10. Captain America First Avengers 7 out of 10. And Hulk is 6 out of 10. You're giving it 8 out of 10, but is that above or below Captain Marvel?
It's above.
Iron Man 2 is going in second.
end. Yes, because it's the law of diminishing returns. Although it was very good, I don't think it was as strong as the opener for Iron Man. Tempted to give it a 9, and I think based on the fight scene and how they dispatched Ivan Vanko. Yeah.
Why is it better than Captain Marvel, given you've given them both 8 out of 10? Because you have put Iron Man above Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel's too powerful and is outside the realms of being real, apart from the fact we know she's an alien, so arguably is not real. But it would take a lot to kill her. There's a difference between being powerful because you've been given powers, or powerful because you've got the money to build equipment or technology to make you powerful. I always like the people who have been able to attain it through being clever and being financially able to do it, rather than just being given, I've been bitten by a spider, whoopee-doo, you now got powers. I think they're more powerful because they're relatable to people, even though they're billionaires, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
And also, I would imagine he's got an arrogance. She's proper arrogant. Like, proper arrogant, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, you wouldn't argue with her because she'd punch you in the face. And so, yeah, that's why.
Okay.
And I imagine there'll be a sliding scale as time goes on if we have more 8. That was the reason for that.
Right, so shall I go with mine first?
Yeah.
Are you happy with that? Okay, I'm going to give this 7 out of 10.
Wow.
I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, but yeah, giving Iron Man 9 out of 10. I gave Captain America First Avenger 8 out of 10. I don't think this film is as good as Captain America First Avenger, so I couldn't give it the same score. Captain Marvel I gave 7 out of 10, and Hulk I gave 4 out of 10. So for me, it's better than Captain Marvel, but not better than Captain America First Avenger, which is why it fits in there. It's funny. I love the characters, but I think Ivan Vanko is a bit meh for me. He's not really in it enough. The stuff he does is a bit meh, and even his death scene isn't all that spectacular, whereas everything else around that is really quite good, so I had to mark it down for that. Ish, what about you?
Okay, Iron Man 1 was 9 out of 10, Captain America was 7 out of 10, Captain Marvel was 6 out of 10, and Hulk was 1 out of 10. Right? On that basis, Iron Man 2 is going in at 8 out of 10.
Oh, so it's going in second.
Second, only because I think Obi was slightly better character than Whiplash. However, I am more invested in the characters on this one now, which is a nice thing, and I like the fact that there was a continuation. The tech is just getting better and better. The graphics were good. We got a bit more of an intro into some of the good characters. The end credit was brilliant. So I do believe that it was better than Captain America, but simply because the baddie was not as good as the first baddie, it's getting an 8.
You are wrong about the Captain America thing, but I have just changed my score from a 7 to an 8 because you did make a very valid point that the characters are evolved, and the characters we saw in the first one I'm now more emotionally vested in, plus have a couple of extras that I really like, and actually I'd ignored that point, so it's still not better than Captain America, so it's still sitting in at 3, but I have just added it to the 8 out of 10, gang. Very well argued.
Thank you.
The top 10 characters, do we want to go around in the same order as before, or Ish, would you like to go first?
No, I want to hear Latham's.
Oh god, here we go.
Go on, Latham.
Do you want to read out your top 10 first?
Iron Man is 1, Talos is 2, Red Skull is 3, Bucky Barnes 4, Captain America 5, Agent Carter 6, Ronan the Accuser 7, Abomination 8, and I think mine's changed then from what I've got. So.
9, Thunderbolt Ross.
Yes.
And 10, Pepper Potts.
Okay, so Pepper Potts is going.
Oh.
And in there is Whiplash.
What?
Surprised?
I am, because I didn't think he was...
jibbed off your list completely.
Well,
Yeah.
she's moved down. She might go back in. Can she go back in?
She can go back in. Well, she can go back in when you watch a film with her in, so...
Oh, yeah. Okay, loads of times.
And nobody else is on your list then?
No, that's it.
Just Whiplash.
So you only added in Whiplash into the 10? Wow, okay. Ish, do you want to go next?
No, go on, Mark.
Okay, I have a massive overhaul. Unlike Latham, I've just completely gone in with everyone. Number 1's Captain America. Number 2 is Iron Man, which was as is prior to this film. After that, I've just completely wholesale changed my top 10. So number 3 is Black Widow, because I just love her. I think she's great in this film. She plays a great role, and I just love her as a character. Number 4 is Nick Fury, because this is the Nick Fury I first came across. And even though he's in it for a short amount of time, in that short amount of time, he properly sets his status clearly. Number 5 is Justin Hammer, because I just think he's hilarious. Every scene he's in, he just steals it with the humour that his character provides. Number 6 is Pepper Potts. She's risen slightly on the list. I've still think she's a good character, and the way she puts up with Tony, again, I still feels quite funny. Rhodey comes in at 7. I love this Rhodey, and as we've already explained, he's a better counterpoint to Tony Stark. Number 8, Happy, because Happy sort of was, I think, about 11 or 12 on my list, but I've moved him up because I am more emotionally invested in Happy, and you do see a bit more of him in this. Coulson's dropped quite substantially to 9, and he's only on 9 because I couldn't really bump anyone else in accordance with our rules, and Talos is 10. So with that in mind, Ish, go on then. Do you want to read out your list?
No, you read out my list.
Okay, so your existing list is Iron Man 1, Coulson 2, Barnes 3, 4's Talos, 5 Pepper Potts, 6 Obi Stain, 7 Red Skull, 8 Captain America, Christ Alive, 9 Nick Fury, and 10 of Lurkin.
Right, Iron Man 1. I've still kept Coulson in at number 2. Pepper at 3. Bucky's still in at 4. Talos is at 5. Black Widow's at 6. Nick Fury's at 7. Obi's at 8. Rhodey's at 9. Whiplash is at 10. That means Red Skull, Captain America, Happy, Flirk. You're going to be in massive dismay that Captain America isn't in my list at all anymore, isn't it?
I mean, before my brain properly explodes, let's just assess this top 10. So Captain America is now not in the top 10, having seen the first Captain America movie. Whiplash is in at 10, which means you rate Whiplash better than Captain America. What the actual fuck?
Because I like baddies more than I like goodies.
He's not even a good baddie. He's in it for about 5 minutes.
Hey, but he isn't a bad baddie.
And he can't tie his shoe. What do you mean he isn't a bad baddie?
No, he isn't a
He
bad
was
baddie.
killing people.
He's intelligent. Look at what he can do. He can create all those machines in however
that
many
try and
days.
kill people. Let's not forget the fact that he slices off the front of a fast-moving race car,
Which
being
is
driven.
cool as fuck, by the way.
Oh, well, that's all right as long as it's cool and
Yeah.
it kills people. It's all right. Captain America's 12th.
I know. I mean, shit happens.
On your top 10.
Exactly.
Your top 10's like a car crash.
Rhodey is higher up than bloody Captain America.
Well, this is my very unique view of the Marvel world right now.
Wow.
To be honest, I don't really understand why Bucky's still so high up in my list, but it is what it is.
Because you have no idea how to put a proper list together. That's why.
Becoming very apparent quite quickly, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It'd be good to know which list people love the most. I'd laugh out loud if it was mine.
Yeah, we'll put them on social media and then people can read them, shake their head in disgust, and then get in touch with us to let us know who is right, me, and who is wrong, you two.
Well, you say you two. Mostly Ishtar.
Whatever.
Right, what film are we watching next?
Thor?
Oh!
Oh, you thought about that?
Hey!
Yeah, as per Mr. Pollard's lovely infographic.
Well, you say infographic. A, I pinched it off the internet, and B, it was wrong.
So it's about the opposite of what an infographic should be.
You didn't have to say that. I was trying to cover for
To
you.
be
Well,
fair,
I think we'd already admitted that live on the show. We were going, next film, we're going to watch is Iron Man 2. And then the next film was actually Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. So the only part of that is right is it's a graphic.
And it was added to it by me.
And I don't have a comeback on that one, so okay.
Oh, you don't? It's all right. You don't need to come back at it. I'm the one who comes out looking like a dick. Right. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Let us know what your thoughts are. Go check us out on social media. Give us a review. Subscribe to the show. What else am I missing there, Latham?
Well, you can check out the others that we already alluded to. We're on Patreon if you feel that you want to give us some money and you feel this is value for money, which I think it is personally. I laugh when I'm editing these things. I know you do.
You laugh when you're writing your notes.
I have a lovely time. I have a lovely time on my own. It's beautiful. Literally giggling to myself like a loon. Hopefully you enjoy it as much as we do. So, you know, if you want to drop us a few pounds, thousands of pounds, maybe $1 million, don't know, Tony Stark, tune in. Oh, comments. If you want a 5-star review, leave us 5-star, leave some comments. Ask us some questions. Why do you think Ishtar's top 10 every week are shit? We're going to be running a poll on that.
We will actually run a poll on that.
We don't
Let's
know why,
see.
do we? That's like finding out about Loch Ness Monster. No idea. They're just rubbish every week. Hopefully they'll get better in the next 21 movies. Who knows? No, there's 20 movies in it.
Yeah.
Because this is
I'll tell you
episode
what,
5.
we're starting to get through. We're a fifth of the way through.
Yeah, you'll only be 30 by the time.
Aw, that's kind of sad though. What we're going to do when we
Oh,
do
I won't
watch
worry
them all.
about it. By the time we get there, there'll
Yeah.
be another 10 movies to get through.
You know Eternals is out.
Okay,
Followed quickly by Spider-Man.
Yeah, you do realise that that's the thing.
okay.
So there's 2.
And we've already got Black Widow and Shang-Chi to add to that graphic.
So are we in this forever then?
I would say if the way Marvel churning out films, yeah,
Woo.
you'll be here with your walker.
And your shit top 10.
Yeah, and just shit your pants while you're there talking about it. Without further ado, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ishtar.
Ishtar,
Thank
it's
you.
been great. Today wasn't the day, but it has been great. I've had a lovely time. It wasn't here. Thanks for listening. Excelsior!
Get social at The Two Marks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also check them out on YouTube.